organic matter makes it less prone to compaction, crust formation, and erosion. When we are adding the organic matter, to the soil, it means that it makes it less prone to the erosion, the compaction, and the crust formation, and improves the fertility of the soil and various soil properties. The potential carbon sequestration in agriculture soils is estimated to total 600 to 900 megatons per year over several decades. So here you can see that the microbial activity, that means the soil biodiversity is dependent on microbial activity, and it carries out the nutrient cycling, and when we add the soil organic carbon, it improves the soil structure, microbial activity, the soil biodiversity, and nutrient cycling. It has been found that bolstering the microbiology, that means incorporating the microbial inoculants in the soil, improves the soil microbial activity, and thus the plant growth yield. So we can do this by adding the certain microbial inoculants into the soil. It has been, the biology has created the earth. Over 3.5 billion years, biology has formed the planet we live on, from massive limestone cliffs to coral reefs, to the soils that grow food, to the oxygen atmosphere that makes today's world possible. So without biology, the earth would be just another barren, lifeless rock in the universe like Mercury. So here we can see that using the biological processes may be the only way to reduce the atmospheric carbon quickly enough to address climate effectively and to restore the water cycle to cool the Earth's surface. It has been found that the mycorrhizal fungi, the mycorrhizal plants, they are associated with certain type of filaments. You can see it here. They have a certain type of filament, like they are called hyphae. And these filaments are coated with a chemical compound that is known as the glomalin. That was first identified by a scientist at USDA Agriculture Research Service. She was working for that in 1996. She identified that chemical on the hyphae. That was the glomalin. Her name was Sarah Wright, and it was found that what was the function of that glomalin that covers the hyphae? That was the compound that restores the water that goes deep into the soil and to increase the access of the nutrients and water to the plants. And that's why the USDA scientists, they are always advising the land managers to go for minimize the tillage, to use the green manures, and to make less use of the inorganic fertilizers in order to protect that chemical, that means the glomalin. That's why they are always advising the farmers to do the zero tillage process. How is the agroecosystem leads to ecosystem degradation? This might be due to cutting trees for fuel, the burning plant cover, that leads to loss of biodiversity, overgrazing and denudation, the waterlogging, leads to loss of organic matter and nutrient leaching and sheet and gully erosion due to the wind erosion, that leads to crusting and compaction, and thus the productivity loss, and ultimately we have the ecosystem degradation. So how can agriculture help to mitigate the greenhouse gases? The agriculture sector can help to mitigate the global warming in 3 ways. First is reducing its own emissions by adopting practices such as no-till planting, the mulching, the green manuring, etc. Secondly, it's absorbing the atmospheric carbon dioxide by enhanced photosynthesis, storing carbon in soils. Producing the renewable biofuels from the biomass contribute to ethanol or biodiesel. The recommended management practices include the reforestation, the agroforestry, and no-till farming to avoid the mechanical disturbance of soil. manures, organic manures, the compost, the sludge, soil and water conservation and production of energy-rich crops to replace the fossil fuels. So we can use soil and water conservation and production of energy-rich crops. The energy-rich crops are the low-cost and low-maintenance soils crops. Those crops, it comes the sorghum, the willows, the poplars. Here you can see that mulching and recycling of organic residues improves the soil structure and quality, water conservation and water use efficiency. The adoption of diversified cropping systems and green manures, they are high in nutrients. The agroforestry and mixed farming, no-till agriculture, on-farm experimentation and adaptation. The use of micronutrient-rich fertilizers and nano-enhanced zeolites. When we talk about zeolites, these are the commercial adsorbents that absorb the cations from the soil, and they also absorb a lot of water. And when the plant and release, it has been found that zeolites, they absorb about 55% of water by their weight, and when they release that water on the plant demand. So we can use these zeolites. They are the slow release fertilizers that we have, the nitrogen fertilizers. And also inoculating the soils for improved biological nitrogen fixation. So what are the effects of no-tillage cropping systems? It restores the soil carbon. It conserves the moisture and helps save fuel, saves the labor, lowers machinery costs, reduces the erosion, improves the soil fertility, controls the weeds, and improves the wildlife habitats. So we have to keep in mind before we adopt these technologies, we need to examine the system. That means the less disturbance and organic carbon inputs. What kind of organic manures we are adding into the soil. That means what kind of organic compounds we are adding into the soil. And no-tillage must be combined with residues and other sustainable methods, because residue removal in no-till may be worse than the tillage with residues. So whenever we do the no-till, it should be accompanied with the residues. So in the last slide, we saw that agrosystem led to the degradation, and now here we can see it can lead to the sustainable production by maintaining agroforestry and intercropping, through the conservation tillage, through organic matter enrichment, and through fertility enhancement and carbon sequestration that lead to productivity increase, and finally the sustainable production. So the conclusion is that adoption of a restorative land use and recommended management practices on agricultural soils can reduce the rate of enrichment of atmospheric carbon dioxide while having positive impacts on food security, agro-industries, water quality, and the environment. A considerable part of the depleted soil organic carbon can be restored through conversion of marginal lands into restorative land uses, adoption of the conservation tillage with cover crops and crop residues, the nutrient cycling including the use of compost and manure and other systems of sustainable management of soil and water resources. The major rates of soil carbon sequestration through adoption of recommended management practices range from 50 to 1,000 kilograms per hectare per year. The global potential of soil organic carbon sequestration through these practices is 0.9 to 0. Petagrams carbon per year, which may offset one-fourth to one-third of annual increase in atmospheric carbon, estimated at 3.3 petagrams carbon per year. The cumulative potential of soil carbon sequestration over 25 to 20 years is 30 to 60 petagrams. The soil carbon sequestration is a truly win-win strategy. It restores the degraded soils, enhances the biomass production, purifies the surface and groundwaters, reduces the rate of enrichment of carbon dioxide, atmospheric carbon dioxide by offsetting emissions due to fossil fuel. So we need the agriculture that sustainably increases the productivity and resilience, that means the adaptation, and reduces and removes the greenhouse gases, that means the mitigation, and enhances the achievement of national food security and development goals. So we need the climate smart agriculture. So here I want to, last month I got a chance to go to the Louisiana State University, and I walked with them through the fields, and they showed me a new technique. Maybe some of you may have seen them in the images, but I got a chance to see in person the fields that grow the rice and the crawfish in the same field. So here are some images. That one is here. This is the farmer that is collecting the crawfishes, and that one is from China. That it was first adopted, and this technique was first implemented in China and Indonesia. They grow the fish and this rice in the same field. What were the functions of that? It was found that the droppings of the fish that were present in the rice fields, they act as the fertilizers to the rice plants, and also helps in the aeration